Hopefully I'll answer some of your questions that you might have through what I'm talking about. But I just want to let you know, like, I am not going to sit here and tell you all of the things tonight because that could be overwhelming. When you think about starting a new job, there's a learning curve, and that's exactly how it is here with Plexus. And so my goal tonight is really to build your belief so that way you can make the decision on whether or not you want to find success here, because belief is the hugest part of this. I'm going to read to you a quote that I absolutely love. It's from a book that a lot of our team are reading right now. It says, "The greatest factor that leads to success, it's your decision. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So make a decision, be relentless, and be committed to do whatever it takes." I love that. The greatest factor that leads to success is your decision. And I don't think that anything could ring more true with network marketing. My name is Emily, and I said heck to the no for like 3.5, 4 years. I had so many friends asking me if I wanted to do Plexus or Dan & Fields, S4, whatever, you name it. And I wanted nothing to do with it because I did not want to sell to my friends. How many of you have felt that way? Like when you've kind of thought about maybe doing this, how many of you felt like, I don't want to sell to my friends? That's not me. I would rather die than do that. I think many people feel that way. And so I want to encourage you to let go of that notion that you are selling to friends, that you are doing something slimy and schemy. As we know from the past couple of weeks, there's bad in every profession. There are bad police officers, there are bad teachers, there are bad parents, there are bad doctors, there are people who are not awesome at every little thing, right? And so there are people who have done network marketing who've maybe put a bad taste in the mouth of some people. But that is something that is so cool about what we get to do here. You get to be your own business owner. You get to run your business the way that you feel fit, the way that you feel is honorable, the way that you feel is authentic. You get to run your business the way that you want to run it. But it's up to you to make the decision. So what happened in between that 3.5, 4-year period of where I was saying, no way? Like I literally had like 30 to 50 different people messaging me, asking me to do this with them. And I think I responded to like 2 of them. Like, yeah, have fun. Don't forget the little people when you start making millions. Like that was a response that I had to one of my friends who I went to college with. I was not interested at all. But what happened was that I watched unintentionally, just being on social media, this happens. I watched for 3.5, 4 years, people that I knew, people that I loved, trusted, and respected, sharing about these products that were helping them with XYZ. Their doctors were approving them. Their doctors were encouraging them to continue on with the products. And I even saw friends of mine that I'd gone to college with who were pharmacists, nurses, dietitians, and doctors talking about how great the products were. So that was starting to build my belief, seeing the consistency in what people were sharing about the health changes that they were having. All of us want to have better health. Even, I don't know if she's on here, Taryn Thomas, who's got like a 12-pack, who eats nothing but kale and quinoa. She also wants to have a better health, right? So everybody is longing to be healthier. So I was seeing those people consistently sharing for 3.5, 4 years. Again, my belief was being built because I was seeing that they weren't growing a third eye. They were sharing that their doctors were approving them and celebrating them. So that made me, who's not a researcher, feel much better. So they were educating me there, unintentionally, not knowing that I was watching. And then third, I was seeing people sharing about how the products were helping them with their finances. I was actually thinking about this today. Tamara Holloway, who is my upline, she and I went to college together, and she is who I signed up under. But I remember a specific post that she made probably like 6 or 7 years ago, and she's holding up a packet of the Slim, like right by her face. and her beautiful home that she had just built is in the background. And I remember her saying, all the caption said was, "This pink drink allowed us to build our dream home." And I was like, whoa, so she's not making just like $25, $50 a month. Like, that's what I thought. I thought people might be getting their products covered, might be making 50 bucks. No, that's not the case. But I learned that because people were being consistent. My belief was starting to be built. And then Tamra also started messaging me. She sent me samples of the Slim that I threw in the trash, but she continued to pour into me. She continued to build my belief, her belief of me, in me, if that makes sense. So she would tell me in her messages, in her cards, why she felt like I could do this business well. So even though I was not even a part of Plexus, I wasn't even wanting it, I was having that belief built of the products and the business and me, that I could do this because people were being consistent. And so that's the biggest thing right here that I want everyone to walk away from this call knowing. You have to have belief. And the fact of the matter is that many people go into this having to borrow belief because many people don't have a story yet. My sister right here, my sweet sister Abby, she started on the products and did not have a story, but she started sharing because she had belief from me. She saw what the products were doing for me, for our parents, for my husband. She saw what the business was doing. So she borrowed my belief as she is building that story. If you don't have belief, that's okay, but you have to borrow that. You have to trust that, because here's the thing. Here's what people are waiting to see. I promise you this. I can bet you my bottom dollar on this. If you sit there and you say, okay, guys, I'm starting this journey. I'm doing Plexus. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to provide an additional stream of income to my family. Who wants to join me? People are seeing that, but they're also seeing other people are saying that too. And they want to know that you mean it. They want to know that in about 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, you are still saying the same thing. So you have to believe that this is something that you are going to succeed with, whether it's the health, whether it's the financial. And so that's the biggest thing right there. Again, I'm going to read that quote once more. The greatest factor that leads to success is your decision. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So make a decision, be relentless, and be committed to do whatever it takes. So at that point, after about 4 years of seeing all these people, my belief is kind of becoming I'm kind of becoming curious. My husband and I sit down and we write a pro and a con list before I decide to join. We wrote a pro and a con list. And y'all, it was very interesting. And I'm sure many of you can resonate. When I looked at the pro list, it was like, we can whatever, like we don't have to go to the grocery store and be sweating because we don't know how much money we have in our account. My husband can start to dream with his business. We can get my daughters into sports and arts and ballet without having to dip into our savings. We can go and serve at this mission hotel thing that my husband's family owns in London and introduce my daughters to missionaries and just serving people. We can be generous and be more on the giving end rather than the receiving end. It was like all these beautiful things for the pro. If I were to do this, and if it were to prove successful, these were the things that would happen. But then you go over to the con list, and I swear to you, every single con was, what are people going to think? I'm scared. What are people going to think? Am I going to be one of those girls? I don't want people to run away from me when they see me at church. I don't want people to go the other way. What are they going to think? So isn't that interesting? The pros were like beautiful, tangible things that were life-changing, not just for my family, but in ways that we could help change other people's lives, versus the cons of what are people going to think? So that's the first thing I want you guys to do. I want you to sit down with whether that is a spouse, a significant other, a child, a parent, a best friend, and I want you to write out the pros and the cons of what this would look like if you were to dive in. And then I want you to spend, if you are a man or a woman of prayer, I want you to spend a lot of time just praying, asking the Lord to give you a peace about this. Because here's the thing, He might give you a peace, but you might still feel like you want to vomit. That's okay. Like stretching our comfort zone is okay. Just because you feel nauseous about it or you're scared, that does not mean it's not a peace. There's a difference there between comfort and peace. And so I want you to just, if you are a woman or a man of prayer, I want you to pray for the Lord to give you a peace, and for you and your spouse or you and your significant other to kind of be on the same page so you can approach this wholeheartedly, even though it is really scary. I want you to make that decision that you are going all in, or you're going to get your products paid for. But here's, I do want to address that. Here's the thing. Let's just be honest here. I will tell you, the people that I have worked with over 3.5 years that have said, I don't know, like I'd love to have a little extra spending money, or I don't know, maybe, get my products paid for. There's not a real why behind why they're doing this. There's not like a huge pro list of like what this could do for me and my family and for others around us. If those people have not had strong whys as to why they're doing this, I swear to you, they are out the minute something hard happens. And this is not like an easy road, which I'm very thankful for, because when my husband and I were talking about this for 3.5, 4 years, rolling our eyes, but like in the back of our head, like, ooh, this could be really awesome for our family. Like, this would be really great to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds and to be able to earn $10,000 a month. Like, that would be kind of nice. But as we were like skeptically talking about it, we'd be like, it's too good to be true. Too good to be true. I am thankful that it's not too good to be true. I'm thankful that it is hard. I'm thankful that we get to grow through a refining moment, figuring out that our worth is in Jesus, not in others. I'm starting to preach here, but I am thankful that this is not like a walk in the park, because everybody would be doing it. And this is such a beautiful time. It is way beyond Plexus. It's way beyond losing a little bit of weight, getting a little bit of sleep. Like, it is way more than that. This has been like the most, I don't know. This has been something that I have seen such growth in personally, and from so many people that are on our team, so much growth. I've seen families come together in a way I've never seen before. I've seen a community of men and women come together who don't even know each other. Like, we've got people out in like Minnesota and Arizona and Idaho who have never met before, but are like BFFs. That does not happen, y'all. Like, this is a beautiful, beautiful culture here. And so I'm excited. I'm just all over the place, aren't I? I'm just trying to like beat in here that it is worth it. It is scary, and you might want to throw up. You might have, sorry, pastor, preacher man Jut, but you might have diarrhea for a long time as you are starting to share, because it is scary, because you are stretching your comfort zone. But I swear to you, it is worth it. You're going to look back after starting this, after sending a message to that one person, after seeing the growth in yourself, after seeing that paycheck come through, and you're going to say, I'm really proud of myself. This is worth it. Your husband's going to look at you and say, Em, you look really fulfilled. Like, it's really cool to see how fulfilled you are right now. It's awesome. Okay, so get out your pen and your paper. I'm not going to tell you a ton of things because there are so many resources. And like I said, starting up a new job, a new business, whether it's Plexus or working at McDonald's, there is a learning curve. And so this is not going to be about overwhelming you. I'm going to point you in some directions that you guys can use for your resources here. Okay, so when I started, one of the very first things that my upline Tamara sent over to me were training videos. I did not know a thing about probiotics. I did not know a thing about anything health and wellness. I just knew I didn't like kale and I wanted to lose some weight. And so I needed to watch some training videos. I needed to have a better idea of what our products were about. So that way, I didn't have to be the expert when people came to me or when I went to people, but at least I wouldn't look like somebody that was like completely clueless. Okay. So something that I love, my friend Jen Leith always says, just learn like a sentence or two about each product. Now our product line is growing, but there are some key products that you want to know so much about. You want to know about the Triplex, which is our Slim, our BioCleanse, and our probiotic. We've got training videos out the wazoo. My sister, again, she found the Plexus YouTube channel, and there are tons of great videos. They're like 1 to 3 minute training videos over the products that you can use. Get out your pen, your paper, and write out Slim, and then just jot some notes down. Then watch the next one and write BioCleanse, jot some notes down, just so you can have a better understanding, not only as you're sharing with people, but as you're taking the products yourself, so you have an understanding of what you're taking. So train yourself, become a little bit more confident in the products, okay? So doing the training videos over the products. And then the next thing is doing training over the business. Now, some of my favorite people to follow, go to YouTube for business training purposes. For YouTube, go to Brooke Hemingway. She is almost a triple diamond, which I cannot even imagine. And she has like 8,000 children. So if she can do this, we all can do this. Okay. Her husband is a chief ER doctor. So he was working like 80 or 90 hours a week while she was growing her business with 5 babies and 1 on the way at the time. We can do this if she can do this. So Brooke Hemingway is somebody to watch. Emily Gibson is somebody. Thank you, Liz, so much for sharing this in the chat. Emily Gibson is somebody else. She and Brooke actually are power partners. They're on the same team and they really work well together. I would tell you, if you're brand new, even if you're not, I still find value 3.5 years in watching this video series again. It's the Silver Series. Brooke Hemingway and Emily Gibson put them on, and I think there are 5 of them, and they're like 8 to 12 minutes each, and they are great. That is where I would start you, is watching those silver videos, because they really do talk through like tangible things that you should be doing. And y'all, this business is not rocket science. This business is simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. There are only a few things that you really need to do to get your business going. But again, the core of that is the belief and the decision. Having no back door, having those whys that drive you. So training videos. And then we also have in our virtual office, that is where you signed up. So going to plexusworldwide.com, you sign in with your username, which is the email address, and then your password. And then you can go on the left-hand side into dashboard. And on the left-hand side, you're going to see all sorts of great things like resources and training. And there are some incredible training places for you there. There actually is a link where it says something like new ambassador, click here. If you've not done that yet, even if you've been here for 3 years, I encourage you to go and click here and see how corporate walks you through. They're brilliant. They hire people that know a whole lot more about this stuff than we do. So we just need to trust the process. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Soak it in like a sponge, stretch your comfort zone, and then just do what they're guiding you to do. So again, that's in the dashboards under new ambassador, click here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can send me or your upline a message and we'll guide you in that direction. That's a great resource. Great to build that confidence to train yourself. So that's the first thing, training. The second thing is you're sharing your story. You may not have a story yet, but I have a story. I'd love for you to share it. Kanya has a story. She'd love for you to share it. Brittany has a story. Liz has a story. You are in a team here of men and women who have really beautiful stories, whether it's about weight loss, whether it's about migraine relief, thyroid issues. Carrie Compton, she's got a great story with her thyroid. She's got a great story with her daughter and eczema. I mean, you name it. Like, we've got incredible stories that you can share. And so that's what you do. You just start sharing a story, because I've said this before, but sharing is very natural for many of us, whether we're introverted or extroverted. Like, it is a very natural thing, whether it is a a kid educational resource that we found that we want to go and share with our friend April, who has a child the same age as us. Or we found a hairdresser who's really good at hiding those grays, so I'm going to go and get in touch with so-and-so so that way she knows about this hairdresser. Like, that is a natural thing that we do. So don't be weird, right? Like, don't make it weird. Don't be weird. You're sharing something that you know, because you've seen, can help other people. If Alexa comes to me and says that she's got a headache and I have a capsule of ibuprofen in my purse, I'm going to give it to her, right? Just as if Alexa comes to me and my BFF and says, I've, not slept in forever and I'm exhausted, but I have noticed that I'm starting to not have that 2 p.m. crash, why in the heck would I not tell her? Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Like, it is what it is. Don't be attached to the results. If Alexa wants it, great. If she doesn't want it, I'm not going to take it personal. I didn't make it. It's helped me. If she wants it, great. If she doesn't, that's on her. I don't care. So that's another thing. Don't be attached to the results and think that it's you that people may be saying no to. How many of you have text messages and emails and Facebook messengers like waiting, pending on you to get to them? Please raise your hand. Seriously, raise your hand if you have text messages, phone calls, emails, messages that you have not yet responded to. When you get those messages, you're not like, Kinsey just messaged me. I'm not going to message her back. You're like, oh, Kinsey messaged me, but I'm also like wiping bums, making snacks, driving, I'm making dinner, I'm doing all the things. Like, I'll get back to Kinsey soon. But what happens is Kinsey sends out the message and then she sees, oh, Liz just looked at it. Okay, she hasn't responded. She hates me. She's sitting down at her dinner table talking about me to her whole family because I sent her a message about Plexus. Oh my gosh, I'm humiliated. I'm done. That is not what happens. But I think so often we are so nervous to share about something like this that we make it weird and we just assume. So Bob Heilig, he is an incredible trainer for personal development for network marketers. And he said, you aren't salesy unless you message somebody once and don't ever message them again. I actually shared that with my sister the other day because she had somebody that was like a dream teamer of hers. And she said she saw it. She opened up the message. She saw it. She hasn't responded yet. And I was like, okay, well, you need to message her back again. Like, message her back and say, I meant what I said. Monique, I meant what I said. Like, you would be amazing at this. But if Abby wouldn't have sent that back to her, then Monique would have thought, Abby's just another one. Like, she just copied and pasted and just sent it to me along with the other 1,800 people. Be normal. Like, if you think somebody would be amazing at this, tell them, and then don't go hide in a corner and then cry because you think that they hate you because they didn't respond. Be normal. Tell them that you think they'd be amazing. If they don't want to do it, fine. Not a big deal, but you offered because you have no idea who is praying for something like this right now. You have no idea who is going to the grocery store sweating because they don't know if they have enough money in their checking account to get through or if it's going to go into the red. You have no idea who's having marital problems. You have no idea who's especially right now, who is having financial problems because their husband's been out of work for 2.5 months. That is the beauty of this, is that this is an opportunity, whether it's your day 1 or day 1,801. It does not matter if you've made a penny or not. This is an opportunity that has changed thousands of lives, and it's an opportunity that you get to bless other people with. But it's about being bold. It's about making that decision, having that belief, and trusting and sticking with this. Okay, so sharing your story, that was the second one. Sharing your story, sharing your leader's story, sharing your team's story. When it comes to posting, I remember when I first started, somebody told me, she wasn't a part of Plexus, but she said, you know that if you want to like go diamond, they make you post like 4 or 5 times a day. And I was like, oh my gosh, I post maybe like once every 2 weeks. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that person. The beautiful thing is you don't have to do that. Really with social media, you really want to make 70% of what you're doing with social media just fun. Like, you want to be engaging, you want to be sharing things, and not Plexus, like personal, fun things, entertaining, engaging, giving education of some sort, providing resources for people, and then 30% of it can be Plexus. 30% of it can be you sharing my story. you sharing about why the probiotic is really good. And you're going to know about that because you've done that training that I was telling you about. You don't have to be the expert, but you have to start sharing. You have to have that belief and that notion that I've got something that is going to bless my family, and I know it can bless other people. If I don't share, somebody else will. And I really don't want Monique to go to somebody else. I know I'm sitting on a gold mine, so it's up to me to make that decision. Am I going to let somebody else reach out to Monique, or am I going to do the scary thing? And then the last thing that I am going to encourage you guys to do, this is what I did. Alexa, great question. She said, how often should we share, like posting on Facebook? So the Facebook algorithm is constantly changing. So before I joined like 4 years ago, that was kind of the thing. People were posting like 4 or 5 times a day, but then Facebook kind of changed up the algorithm. And so now people really only post like total, not Plexus, but just total, like once to twice a day. And so for me, I try to make sure that I'm not doing an infomercial. I've not been as great about posting as I was in the beginning. Like I'll see in my memories, my posts from like 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to save that and I'm going to reuse that. That was a good one. And that's the thing too, is you can be reusing some of these. But I try to do like 1 Plexus and then 2 or 3 personal, 1 Plexus, 2 or 3 personal. And the beautiful thing too is the stories. If you've not started on the stories, that's a really fun thing to do that you can be posting to all throughout the day. And that's on Instagram. And what I have is I've got my Instagram story linked to my Facebook story, and I still get a ton of viewers on both Instagram and Facebook. And you know, there are a lot of like fancy social media people who say don't do that, but I don't have time. Like I have boundaries and I want to be protective of my time and I want to pour into my business. And right now it's working for me to not have to run 2 different social media platforms while still being able to be present with my family and my team. So I would say utilize your stories really well too. That's a fun one. Okay, and so then the last thing that I really focused on when I first started was the training, sharing the stories, getting out of your comfort zone, providing resources, educating, all the things. And then the third thing, the scariest thing, is the reaching out. But you know what's fun is that how many of us here like kind of have craved, like, I would really love to have a few friends. It's a little bit harder to find friends and community now that I'm out of college and I might be married and I might have kids and I might only get to see like 1 adult like every 18 years. I kind of would like to have community. Okay, that's how I felt before I started Plexus, and I was scared to death to start sending out messages. But when I started sending out messages, it was like they were from my heart. Rhonda, I haven't talked to you in forever. Like, you've been on my heart, blah, 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 whatever. I can't just like off the cuff, like share what I would say, but that, you know, like I'm sending a message to Rhonda. I haven't talked to her forever, but I genuinely love Rhonda. She was placed on my heart. I'm going to reach out to her and I'm going to talk to her about Plexus. And if she wants to do it, great. If she doesn't, that's totally fine. But how fun that I'm opening up that line of communication with Rhonda again. My heart is happy. I've got flowers in my heart right now because I have reconnected with somebody. Whether or not she wants to do Plexus, we have reopened that line of communication. And people like you. Like people are in the same boat as you. Like people miss having friendships and they like to hear from you. So reaching out to people could be scary if you allow it to be. But if you share from your heart, if you don't overthink it, if you reach out to them like you would calling her up and talking to her, then it's not weird. Like Kanya and Abby and Lisa and Katie say, don't be weird. Don't make it weird. And so something that I love is that in Rising Jewels, if you're not in our team page, it's called Rising Jewels Financial Freedom. What you can do, if you're not in there, be added, have somebody add you. And then in the search bar on the left-hand side, there's a search bar and you can type in keywords. So I want you to type in reach out message, or you could type in script, or you could type in follow up. It's really cool because what we have is it'll like then pull up all of the posts that have the word script or reach out message or follow up. And in the pages, we've got tons of amazing scripts that either, and I hate to use the word scripts because we send out individual messages to people. We're not copying and pasting messages, but they're just ideas of how you can send out a message. And 3.5 years in, I will still go and look and be like, oh yeah, that was really, really good. And so I'm going to take the bulk of that and then I'm going to personalize it and make sure that Shelby knows I'm sending it over to her, like specific to her. But that will give you a good idea of how you could start reaching out to people. And so you want to be thinking here of who would kill at this business. Reach out to them and tell them why you think they would kill at this business. Think about the people who need this additional stream of income. Send them a message, call them, text them. Hey girl, I just started this. I've just made, 100 extra bucks. What, like, I can't do this off the cuff. Like, I'm getting nervous, but you don't follow what I'm saying right now. They're really good scripts, but sending a message and telling them why you think they'd kill out the business, why you think that this would be a really great thing for them to look at because they're looking for an additional stream of income. And then think about those people who you think could benefit from the products. And you guys, it's going to be crazy. This is what happened to me. When I started sharing not just my story, but other people's stories, because I don't struggle with anxiety and depression, but when I started sharing about my friend Krista Deary who did, I had people coming to me out of the woodwork. It is the most beautiful, humbling thing to have people come to you and share with you what some of their most vulnerable things that they are dealing with right now and say, Emily, I've been struggling with this for a really long time. And I saw that you shared about your friend Krista. I'm super skeptical, but I'm also really desperate. Is this something that you would be willing to help me with? And then in 2 months, when they come to you and say, my husband has his wife back, you just cry tears of joy. And you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus, for helping me make that decision to go and to do this and to do this well. It is way more than Plexus. It is way more than stretching your comfort zone. It is about getting into people's lives and helping them, being a blessing, blessing your family, forming this tight friendship with strangers all over the world, praying with people. I'm just going to share this last thing. And Lacey, I hope you don't feel uncomfortable, but our sweet friend Lacey, she is on this call right now, and she has a son who is very sick. And there are a lot of people on our team who have not met Lacey yet. I'm going to start crying, so I'm hiding myself. But her son went to the hospital, and he's very sick. And Liz Schmidt, who is a very good friend of Lacey's, sent a message to all of us and said, this is the situation. We're going to send out some gift cards to Lacey and her family. Feel free to donate if you want. Within 15 hours, we got $700 to give to Lacey and her family. It is way more than Plexus. It is way more than talking to people about their bowel movements. It is way more than being afraid of what people are going to think about you. Make the decision and go all in. There are so many resources, and y'all, we could talk for days about the ways that you do this, how do I respond to this person? How do I get this person to a three-way message? Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You're in it for the long haul. Do it well. Invite your people who are above you in. Over $800. Are you kidding me right now? Over $800. Okay. All of that to say, go all in. Make a pro and a con list. Evaluate your heart. If the only thing that's holding you back is fear of what people are going to think of you, ask God to remove that and to give you a peace and move forward. Let us come in and help you to share authentically, to send messages from the heart, to be able to respond in a way where you don't feel like a salesy person, because again, this is your business. You get to run it the way that you want it. If you want it to be salesy and slimy, then you can do it that way. But I have a feeling that most every single person here right now has a heart of gold, and has a heart to help one another. And so that's going to come through. People are going to know that. People who know you and know your heart know that you're not out just to make a buck. Okay, guys, so your resources are the YouTube channel, the Plexus YouTube channel. Again, the people to follow would be Brooke Hemingway, Emily Gibson, Genevieve Scory. She is amazing. She's a part of Plexus. She's actually been on our team page multiple times, giving some really great live videos for us. But she runs a page on Facebook called New Ambassador Academy. It's excellent, and it's a great place where you can ask questions. But the fun thing is you can ask questions there, but you can also ask questions here, and you'll have a group of people that are going to surround you and help you with that. You have Rising Jewels is our financial business page. You have Trust Your Gut, which is our testimonial page. So if you have people who you think could benefit and they want to hear a little bit more, add them to the Trust Your Gut page. That's open to anybody. And then you can, again, use that search bar. So Amanda, let's say Amanda, she's got a friend who has IBS. And so Amanda's going to add her friend to Trust Your Gut after her friend says yes. Amanda's going to go to the search bar and she's going to type in IBS, and she's going to see a ton of different stories. She's going to read through some of those stories, and she's going to say, hey, this really resonates with my friend. I'm going to tag her in here, and then I'm going to message her and say, hey, Alexis, I just tagged you in these 2 stories that I think you'll really resonate with. This girl had IBS and seems like she dealt with the same things that you're dealing with. I'm excited for you to read this, and I'm excited to talk to you about the products that she's using. So utilize that page. And then again, in the virtual office, that little click here, are you a new ambassador? Click here, and it will walk you through step by step. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, guys. We just need to make the decision. I'm going to read it one more time. We need to make the decision. We need to be coachable, and we need to push our fears aside and know that it is worth it. So I'm going to leave you with this. The greatest factor that leads to success is your decision. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So make a decision, be relentless, and be committed to do whatever it takes. I'm excited for you guys. We're here for you if anyone needs anything. We have like 1 minute left. Does anybody have any quick question that I can answer for you right now? Okay, you guys, I'm excited for you. Send me or your upline a message if you have any questions, but it's worth it, guys. I'm so excited for you, and I hope that you make that pro and con list and you feel a peace and an urging to go and move forward here. You guys take care. Thanks for jumping on. Bye.